I think that there's something fucked about the way people the last few years especially have been interacting with each other, talking about anything. I don't think you were saying it's not related just to video games themselves, but to the culture of games. I say it's not limited to the culture of games, but the culture. It's like it's zany out there right now, to say the very least. And I know I've said this before, and it's like a broken. What am I trying to say? What is it when you say something over and over again? It's a broken record. What am I, fucking crazy?
Oh,
I don't understand what's wrong with me. But I don't mean to be like a broken record. But you got to get off of social media. Like, you got to do it. I don't think you don't have to read it, but stop participating in it. Stop giving fuel to the fires of this various middling conversation and use your time elsewhere. Like many things, the power to destroy this shit is within all of us. You just have to exercise that willpower. And for me personally, when I stopped posting on Twitter in the fall of 2021, it was hard for like a week. You want to say things, you're programmed over years to participate. And certainly we're all programmed in some ways, and we've all done it. I've certainly done it, of being flippant, aggravating, whatever, to get attention for your tweets and all of that. Sure. But after a little while, you unprogram yourself from it, and then it becomes this foreign thing that you can't even believe you were participating in at all. I really feel like part of it is that the solution rests within all of us. As far as the gaming conversations are concerned, I'm concerned that the conversation seems to be less about the games and more about other things. Like, I find it, and I'll say it over and over again, I do not care what anyone thinks about it. I find it perplexing that there is a Game Pass fan base, like a fan base that roots for Game Pass. It's equivalent to rooting for PlayStation Plus. That to me is like an example of losing the plot completely.
It's funny because we're talking about this through the lens of video games. And I actually feel like video games, like the video game culture, I guess, if you want to put it in a term that's probably not really all that meaningful, I think it's actually one of the better aspects of what's going on right now. Like, I feel like, I don't know, you go online and Kanye West is like praising Hitler, and there's all this like weird shit that's still happening, by the way. It's like, it's not like, it's like not some old, it's not like, oh, it was a moment in time. It was like, you know, and just like insane shit happening everywhere. I saw something recently where like some streamer was talking about like, you know, oh, what's the average salary? Like $100,000?
Oh yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like,
you
who are these people?
Like,
And so, and yet when we talk about video games, I'm like, I understand it is frustrating to see like these little design decisions, like Aloy and Atreus kind of like constantly giving you the answer before you've even had a chance to even remotely think about what it is you want to do. And that's definitely like a symptom of focus testing and maybe, you know, an over-reliance on averages that maybe should be looked at. But ultimately, these are games that are very, very long. Like there's nothing TikTok about God of War. You know, there's nothing that leans into brevity there's nothing about Horizon that leans into brevity. In fact, you see things like Elden Ring that are like skyrocketing in success because people actually have a lot of patience. It's actually it's funny because I feel like it's actually one of the few mediums that are actually doing the opposite of what social media is kind of programming you to do. TikTok is all about like very short videos, very, very quick. Twitter is all about very, very snappy, very, very brief bits of information. And obviously like film is the same as it's always been. Although like you make arguments here and there about like what, maybe Marvel is probably like the best example of something that's maybe a little bit more leaning into the side of brevity in the sense that it's not as cerebral, but at the same time, like even through that lens, cinemas like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a long thing. It requires a lot of patience to be able to get through all of that, and more than I even have, to be quite honest with you.
Everybody, you know, regardless of social media, is looking for their identity. And in addition to that, the people that are their people, right? And so social media and the internet has been a double-edged sword in that it's allowed us to find one another, which has led to a lot of amazing things like this very company and our community. But the other side of it is that it also has enabled us to build barriers between people that aren't exactly like us. And tying back to the identity aspect is that we all have things that we like that become part of our identity, right? Like Chris loves Halo. I like Bloodborne and Elden Ring. Colin loves Mega Man. These are all totally fine things to take the things we like and kind of make them a part of ourselves. But with that, and I think that this getting into the problem is that people take these brands and IPs and make it everything that they are. And so if somebody doesn't like that thing, then that reads to a lot of people as they don't like you. And that's a problem if that's how you feel how you feel about these various things. And so, and it's also one of those things, if you lean too heavily into something that isn't you as your identity, and that thing either goes away or becomes something you don't like, then that's going to put you in a bad spot. So I guess to summarize is that it's okay to find your people and love the things that you love. Obviously, that's what we're doing right here. But in order to stay healthy, we can't let that be the only thing that defines us. And I think that is one of the major issues with gaming culture and the console wars and stuff like that. It's like there's just a lot more going on to put your energy into than that kind of fight.
The reality is that I guess it's different for different people, but we've all been doing this kind of stuff for a long time. And there's just about nothing you can say to me online that no one has said to me before in terms of insulting me or being mean to me or anything like that. And you do kind of, it hurts when you see that kind of stuff, but you become more and more inoculated when you realize it has no bearing on your life at all. It reminds me a little bit of when like the games in media mob would come after me from time to time on social media. And then you look back and it's like half of them don't even have jobs anymore. It's like, it's really like just magnified noise that has nothing behind it. And I think if people see it as the puddle that it is, as opposed to the ocean, and that people are simply mining offense in order to offend you and get your eyeballs and your clicks and all of that, then we can become, I mean, it's like, remember when we were going after the people that were clipping our shows out and constantly misrepresenting what we're saying? It's good that we did that. And it's good that I went on that one show and kind of fought for us. But at the same time, I also realized over time, I can't control them. I can't control it. We had Dustin and I had a weird interaction with some dude from another show behind the scenes a couple months ago. And it's like, I basically put him in his place in the email I sent to him and was just like, I don't know why you think that you can talk to me like this, you know? And then we're going to be like boys or friends, or I'm going to do shit with you or for you. It's like, get the fuck out of here. I don't need you. I don't give a fuck about you. You know, if you're going to treat me like that. And I think people just think that, especially creators, think that they can just do and say whatever they want. And then there are just no consequences for that, or people are not going to follow them or kind of peg them as a certain thing, which is why I've always tried to be as fair-minded as possible. It's not important to me that we get things right, because we get things wrong often. What's important to me is that people understand how we drew our conclusions. That's it. And I see a lot of just reductive nonsense online. And I also feel like a lot of people that talk about games don't really know very much about them. I think the death of the media has been a really bad problem, because there is no standard anymore. Like when podcasts like ours are doing deep interviews with people and making news like I do on Sacred Symbols Plus, that's the shit that should be done on media sites, not our show. So everything is upside down and backwards. People don't know where to look for anything. They don't know where to find things. They don't know who to trust. It's tough out there. I think the best thing Elon Musk could have done for Twitter was to pull the fucking plug on it.